Alrighty, hello. This will be, I guess, the first broadcast in or stream. Building out a, I guess, voter kind of registration thing, where, yeah, I've been, especially so right now, there's a lot of elections going on at many different levels of government, both in Canada and the US, and I wanted to make it easier for people to see and know, a lot of candidate information and where to vote, when to vote, how to vote, registration, yada yada yada, like parties, platforms, all of those things. I do have a little document somewhere with a lot of kind of the general things that I was thinking might be going into this. So here I've got this Obsidian doc um, with just some of the features that I was thinking, like local, provincial, federal, district, and then a map of all of those so you can kind of see, an overlay of what district you're in and the policies and everything. Some candidate info for all of those different levels, dates of upcoming elections, date, time, and place, current reps that you have. Something that would be nice to have would be like email functionality, where it would send you an email with a link to your calendar so that you would be able to know when and where and how to vote and remind you to do that. Um, just some contact info for all of the reps, their platforms, what promises they've actually fulfilled, what other things that they've done, checking registration, requesting a mail-in ballot, how to register if you haven't already. Yeah, ability for the teams of representatives to log in and do some like updating of the information themselves. But also a way, and I haven't really figured this out, but a way to do that without, allowing them to fudge the data or come up with something that might not necessarily be true. Um, and then I was trying to think of like ways to maybe incentivize that because I think voting is really important. So like, how do we get people to actually show up on election days? Like maybe this might be something like ride, share, board, uh, or a forum. I'm just kind of thinking these now on the fly of like where people can request, um, yeah, like rides or other companion to come with them if they're feeling like intimidated about it or unsure. Maybe like partnering with companies to provide discounts on like, okay, cool. Like if you show that you're shown up to your vote and, get a badge or whatever, maybe you take a picture of this and then show them the app and you get like a discount, something like that. And then, yeah, just like a dashboard with a high level of personalization of all the info that you'd need. And then also like maybe even showing current projected polls if you're pre-election time and like ratings of the candidates if you are not. So yeah, that was kind of my general outline or thoughts that I was going to do for this. And so yeah, the even though I don't use them on a day-to-day basis, like I've been a Rails developer now for about 5 years, and before that I did some PHP development, WordPress stuff, making child themes. Ran a digital agency or co-founded a digital agency out of university, and did like SEO, branding, even some photography, marketing. kind of a whole gamut. So although now I would definitely say that I'm more of like a full stack developer. Um, yeah, I have at least a little bit of knowledge about some of these other things, so hopefully I'll be able to incorporate some of that. On a day-to-day, I typically use Rails as the back end with actually GraphQL, and then on the front end, connecting up with Apollo server, or yeah, GraphQL Apollo. And then on the front end using Next.js. But I think for this, because I really have wanted to have an excuse to use it, even though I don't really know it at all, so I'll be probably stumbling through at least parts of this. I'd like to check out SvelteKit, and I believe they just had a version 1.0 release. Either that or they have a release candidate in place. So yeah, I'll be checking that out. And then also Tailwind because I want, I know that's kind of a weird thing with Svelte, just because you're able to encapsulate styles so easily. But I kind of want a sense of sensible defaults, I guess, to also allow people to, if they, because I'd like to open source this. And so giving people who are coming in, a little bit of a potential ease of use if they've used Tailwind before. So that was my thought, and I guess we'll get into it. So yeah, so I already obviously have like a lot of the Rails specific stuff and npm installed on my computer from some of the other development work that I've done, and Homebrew and all those things. So if you don't have those, I would recommend going through and like installing all of the different bundler, all of the gem stuff around Rails. I think the version that I'll be going with for this is 7.0.4. So yeah, if you don't have like Homebrew, and I'll be using Docker Desktop as well. So if that's something that you don't currently have, you might want to get that, and just to make it a little bit easier for you when you're starting out. Yeah, and then other than that, not really too much else to go with first. So I guess I will get started on building out the back end, like with the Rails, the GraphQL, and a few other things, and then I will get the front end going as well. So the easiest way for me to do that is with, and I always, even though I've done a lot of development um, in Rails, I always forget some of the commands about this. So I will, I think it's Rails new, and I'll just call it backend, and then I believe it's API. Like this, yeah, perfect. So this, for those of you who don't know, what do we have here? Interesting. Huh. So I wanted some system stuff. I've never actually seen that before. I forget where I was, but yeah, this basically why I'm going for API only versus the larger Rails ecosystem is because I will be doing so much of the rest of it in Svelte or with SvelteKit. So it just makes it a little bit easier or a little bit more lightweight because I won't be using most of the middleware that is associated with the larger Rails ecosystem, and I don't need any views or anything, right? So yeah, so I'm just going to go with the only the API side of things. So for here, I'm going to want to make a Docker compose YAML file. And let me just bring up, I'm just getting from another project that I have worked on. sorry, I always, let's call this GoVote. And I believe Postgres 14.1 is the latest, but you know what, let's just make sure. Latest Docker image. And so yeah, for those of you who don't know, I guess Docker, 15, okay. Docker is a way of, I just don't really want to deal with like all of the versioning and installing Postgres and brew services to PostgreSQL and everything that I have done in the past. So Docker is a great way of doing parts of your like Postgres database or um, yeah, other like you can theoretically I could run this entire application through a Docker image, but I don't really want to do that. I really just want to get the database going, so I'll run that through Docker Desktop, and that's pretty much it, honestly. So Docker, and then I'll try to remember to um, kind of explain what I'm doing as I'm going, so the people watching this in the future, if anyone ever watches this in the future, will have at least a basic understanding. So right now I am just creating this Docker compose file, and it's going to Docker, downloading that Postgres image, and then we'll be running it on through the Docker desktop. And then -d basically just means that it will be running in the background. And so if we go over here to Docker, we can see we now have this backend running GoVote. And if we wanted to go through the CLI and everything, we could create all of the information, I guess, that manually that we want with this app. But I think one of the best ways would be to go actually back through the app and then do config database YAML. What do we have to do for this? Again, I have done this many times, but I still need to, especially when I'm just starting out, need to look through a lot of the pieces that I don't remember. So I should have done. Darn, I actually completely forgot about that. I should have done when I was building this, done a database flag for PostgreSQL. You know what? Maybe I will actually restart this entire thing because I haven't gotten very far. Because I'm not 100% sure of all the places where that could be. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure all of the places where the Postgres side of things might be. Like, I'm not sure if it's just in the database.yaml. So I am just deleting that and then running basically the same thing that I already did, just to make things easy. Because, yeah, easy enough for me to, at this point especially, go back and do everything again. So here we are again. So just grabbing that info. I don't know why I didn't do that in a better way, but whatever. And at this point, actually I don't, because that's already all set up from before. All I need to do is actually go into my database.yaml and backend development, and then go here, and run host localhost. So this is basically just setting the port and everything to know that it has to run off Docker. And I think that should be pretty much it for what I need from that. So perfect. And then let's just actually get another, grab this over here. Make sure that we can get a Rails server up and going. Looking good. So now we're going to want to go here. And one of the things that is interesting with the only going API is that it makes it more difficult to run, especially with 7.0.4, without having sprockets and some different rail ties and everything. I can't remember exactly what it is, but without some of the assets graphiql, which is a really nice way of doing fetching calls with your GraphQL API will be lost, and so I need to remember exactly how to set up graphiql without having the actual front end capabilities that come with a non API mode Rails. So anyway, that's neither here nor there, or well, will be there. So soon. Bundle add GraphQL. I'm not sure why this is doing this now. Anyway, that's kind of annoying. So yeah, basically what I was doing there was just installing installing GraphQL gem. Let's just bring this up to here. What do I need here? I don't need Redis. I don't need vcrypt. Or I might need vcrypt. I'm not sure 100% how I'm going to do the users management at this point. Whether I will kind of roll. I'm not going to. Well, I'm not going to roll my own, but whether I'll use like OAuth for like Google authentication. But I feel like that might be something that would be frowned upon for a voting platform. So maybe I'll use like a version, like a GraphQL device, something like that. So at least for right now, let's get rid of all of those. Maybe we'll keep bcrypt, image processing. Maybe I definitely need this. Spring I don't need yet. So anyways, here, let's do this again, and I'll probably need, cool. So we are now kind of going with GraphQL and then bundle. It's been bundled, and now I need to run Rails, GraphQL install, get this up and going. And basically what that does is it creates all of the, as you can see, types and some of the schema information. Just some the scaffold for a GraphQL schema that we'll be building out throughout the rest of this. So yeah, if we go in here, we can see now that we've got and we have this new folder here that has all of the new info around mutations and queries and everything. So yeah, it is a pretty neat little gem. I won't go through any of this at the moment because we'll go through that as we're building out the rest of everything. But I will, you know what, I'll make a, just on the base type, where are you? Is it query type? Yeah, okay. So now I want to go and GraphQL with Rails API only, something like that. So I might need to do something like this. Even though this was from a couple of years ago. Anyways, so I will install this graphiql Rails. So add that, and then in routes.rb, we will add this. Okay. Oh, oops. Okay. And just going through and need to, nope, need that. And I need to create an app asset config manifest.js. App. Where are you? Where are the app assets config manifest? Assets config manifest.js. Add those in there. And it looks like I might need to add Sass Rails. It does seem like a lot of extra stuff to add, but it does make developing things significantly easier where we can see the actual queries that we would like and have a pretty good overview of what the API looks like through the introspection. So definitely worth, yeah, worth the little bit of extra overhead that we would get here. So, and then let's see. Hopefully that will be good because now if we go to yes, right. Then I can go here and actually DB. I wonder if I can run reset right away. Probably not. I probably need to write Rails DB create. Okay. Okay. So this is session disabled error. Graphiql. Yeah. So, because right now we're getting, because we're running it in API mode, we are getting sessions disabled. Let's first configure a session store. Let's see if this has any info over that. Application note, I never mean did I do that? I believe it did. Yep. Okay. So, yeah, this is what we're looking for. Where would that be? Maybe an application? No, probably not. Yeah, so I'm looking for session information. Where I'm not sure that in this case. Disable session error. I think I've already looked this up. Sometimes debugging things is basically just doing this, of looking through wonder if I can't remember if I actually so what do we got here? Obligations. First, sessions. Okay. I don't think it doesn't have to do. Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Okay. I wonder if this will application.rb. Perfect. Okay, so yeah, so basically with this, we are configure based like kind of making or fudging the session information, where we're adding in the cookies from action dispatch into the middleware, it looks like, and then using session store and options in the middleware for even the API only side of things. So yeah, but the GraphIQL, graphical. This is the query creator or query API looker view that I can't think of a good word right now, view that I was thinking of before, that will allow you to do queries or like, be able to see basically what the API looks like. And so in this case, for example, because we haven't actually written any queries or mutations or anything, if we go over to here and go to query type, we can see this test field here. And so we have the field test field string, returns a string, and it's a description, an example field added by the generator. Test field hello world. So let's just change this to hi to YouTube, and then refresh this, and this should be now hi to YouTube. So, and one nice thing about GraphQL Rails and graphical and everything is graphical or GraphQL itself is a camel case here, like we see, but most of the Ruby side of things is typically done in snake case, and so it automatically changes from snake to camel case, and yeah, it's a nice way of writing, I guess, all of the resolvers and everything through Rails. So anyway, I will stop actually the stream here for now because we have the GraphQL side of things up and going, and then hopefully we'll get the Svelte kit up and going, yeah, in the next one. So, all right, thanks all. See you.